guys, Brian Hilliard here, author of the best-selling book Networking Like a Pro and creator of the popular program 17 Key Principles Towards High Performance Success. Now today I want to talk about a challenge that, it's actually a question that I've personally been thinking about for a while. It's something that you might have been thinking about as well, and it has to do with success. And specifically, why is it that some people are successful in terms of their business and what they're doing, and other people, when they go through the same conferences, the same, trainings, they read the same books, they listen to the same podcasts, they are not as successful. They struggle. What is the difference in terms of person A who does all those things and gets it right, and person B who comes up a little bit short? And while that is, I think, a pretty big question and probably doesn't have a simple answer, I think this first part actually is a good start, and it has to do with a point that I call commission and omission. In other words, successful people do things that make them successful. That's the commission, right? They do things like going to conferences, reading books, being coachable. They do things that allow themselves, they're actively doing things that allow themselves to be more successful. They are committing those types of things. But there's also an omission, isn't there? Successful people don't do things that prevent their success, if I'm making sense. So what happens is successful people will not watch a lot of television. Successful people will not do a lot of gossip. Successful people will not have a lot of toxic friends and people that they spend time with, right? Commission, they do certain things. Omission, they don't do certain things. And when put together, that creates a successful person. But here's the thing. Unsuccessful people, in my mind, do the exact same thing except the opposite. In other words, unsuccessful people also engage in the commission of things. In other words, they do things that actively prevents them from being successful. I'll give you a perfect example. Unsuccessful people spend a lot of energy, generally speaking, looking like they've got it all together. You ever see that? And I don't mean to laugh at them. You've seen that, right? Where unsuccessful people, oh yeah, I knew that. Oh yeah, that's great. Oh yeah, I'm doing that already. Oh yeah, I got this. Oh yeah, Now, there's still, I was at one conference. I won't even tell you where it was. It was in the middle of the country here in the US. And I remember, it was the smartest broke people I had ever met. They knew you couldn't tell them anything. They're not making any money. The businesses weren't moving forward, but boy, did they know everything. Right? You couldn't tell them anything. So unsuccessful people were actively engaged in committing that. They were committing the idea of, oh, okay, I want to look like I know everything. All right. Unsuccessful people will also actively go and they will spend time gossiping and doing some certain things. But also, let's take a look at the omission side, right? Unsuccessful people will also be all about not reading the books, not being coachable. They will not listen to good advice, right? They will do all these types of things. And once you realize this commission and omission, and you realize that from both the successful standpoint and the unsuccessful standpoint, then a lot of things start making sense. At least they did to me. Number one, it now made sense why I felt like I could go to a conference, get certain things out of it, move forward, right? Because successful people also implement, don't they? And then another person could go to a same conference and do, and not get nearly as much out of it. Another thing that commission, successful people usually take notes, okay? And part of it is that when you take a look at our society today, our society loves having, at least the American one, loves having a conversation around what you need to do, to go, to be more successful. And that's definitely true. You have to do some things, commission. But you also have to avoid doing some other things that allows you, that kind of paves the way. And that gets to point number 2. That also explains why some people are running around so tired. It's because the way I think of it, they've got their foot on the gas, commission, doing all these things, and on the brake, omission. They are doing things that are actively moving themselves forward while simultaneously actively holding themselves back, and they're not going anywhere, but they're spending a lot of energy doing it. Which point number 3 is also why some unsuccessful people seem busy as heck. You ever see that? They're like, man, I've got to be the hardest working broke person on the planet. What's going on? All right. So commission, doing things that make you successful. Omission, not doing things that also make you successful, but the same is true on the opposite end. If you haven't been getting to where you want to be with your business for whatever reason, maybe you're actually doing some things that are holding you back versus having to learn new things to move forward. Maybe it's a conversation around unlearning some habits and some ways of doing things, and then relearning some different habits that can fill that void. But the reason why you haven't been able to move forward is because there's literally no space in your head and in your computer and, whatever bandwidth in terms like a computer to be able to do that. And that's why you haven't been able to move as far as you'd like. I thought that was interesting, and I wanted to share it with you. But in the meantime, my name is Brian Hilliard, saying so long, take care, and thanks so much for your time.